Hello and welcome to another little bit of Satoshi's news. Today's date is Saturday the 4th of April 2026, the year of Green Wigs and BSV Terranode in the mix. Branch of threads, expand your mind with treechat.ai or your post pot and chain. Here we go. So some just a few pieces on my feed to go through today. Probably going to expand on this image that I went through the other day just to make it more clearer. And then we're going to, for any newbies, we're going to show them the evidence that BTC has been corrupted. So this was the very first ever transaction done on Bitcoin, where 10 BTC was sent to Hal Finney from Satoshi Nakamoto. We've got the Marty Maumi transaction of 5,050 BTC that he sold for $5.02. Cheapest price Bitcoin's ever been sold at. Then we've got the famous Bitcoin Pizza Day transaction, $10,000. And then we've got SegWit, where the wallets change. Like, oh my goodness me. Got some 365 days of Bitcoin history. Today was when Jeff Garzik gave a TED Talk on Bitcoin back in 12 years ago now, in 2014. Amazing. Right, let's get into it.
Craig says he's Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, them transactions flying free. He's acclaiming his legacy, you'll surely see.
Alright, here we go. So check this one out. I can't remember when Craig wrote this, but I do remember this one. But it's such an inspiring post, I thought I would read it again. So he says, with the network processing a total of 1 billion transactions per second. This is 1 billion transactions per second. Like, whoa. The total revenue generated across the ecosystem at a fee of 0.001% per transaction is $10,000 every second. This results in a total daily network revenue of $864 million. When this total is divided among a cluster of 10 nodes, each node receives a daily revenue share of $86.4 million. This income scale completely transforms the economic profile of the infrastructure, turning the massive hardware requirements into a highly profitable enterprise. The cost to operate each of those nodes remains at approximately $13.1 million per day to account for the 21.6 petabytes of daily data ingestion and the 200-day rolling storage of 4.32 exabytes. By subtracting this operational overhead from the $86.4 million in daily revenue, each node generates a net profit of $73.3 million. This means that even with the most expensive high-performance Amazon Web Services configurations and massive bandwidth demands, each node maintains an exceptionally strong profit margin while serving as a backbone for the global data economy. On an annual basis, the numbers reach a scale that defies a new class of industrial utility. Each individual node in the 10-node cluster earns $31.5 billion in gross revenue per year. After accounting for the $4.77 billion in yearly Amazon Web Services infrastructure costs, each node brings in a net annual profit of $26.73 billion. Collectively, the 10-node cluster generates a total net profit of $267.3 billion per year, providing that infrastructure required to sustain 1 billion transactions per second is not just viable, but one of the most lucrative assets ever conceived. In time, there are no other options. Yes, indeed. Indeed. In time, there are no other options. Well, even now, there isn't any options really. A Bitcoin BSV is the only digital commodity. Data can only be commoditized one way. It can't be done any other way. So there are no other options. This is it. As the end of my show keeps saying. So this was an update of the image that I went through the other day saying the current financial system, all built on securities fraud. So you can see it all starts with the bank. So the bank prints paper, which they call treasury bills or notes, and they lend them to the government. And the government says, thank you for lending us that. We now owe you it back. So they owe treasury bills back to the bank that the bank made from nothing anyway, and they're just bits of paper. So in order to raise the bits of paper that the bank call treasury notes, the government then sells bonds to the public because they can't sell shares because they're not a company and you can't own the government. So they sell bonds, which are just simply bits of paper, which they promise a return on. And then the public buys those bonds and gives the government currency, as in fiat currency, and the government's just like, oh, fantastic, we've now converted the treasury bills into currency which is used in the economy, so we can now spend that currency, even though we've just simply given the public bonds which we made from nothing, which we give them an interest rate on. They give us currency for, so that we can then pay back the treasury bills. It's so ridiculous. And the public get their currency from the bank as well. So the bank lends treasury notes to the government, but it lends currency to the people, and both of them owe it back, which they make from nothing. Right? And then the government says to the people who buy these bonds, oh, well, we'll actually pay those bonds back with tax. And again, the tax in the public comes from the bank as well. And the taxpayer is still paying the currency back to the bank that they borrowed, because it's all debt. But this is literally how stupid it is. So the government says, oh, we'll pay back those treasury bills that we owe to the bank by raising currency from the public by selling bonds, which we will encourage the public to buy because we give them an interest rate on. And that interest rate might be higher than the interest rate that they borrow currency from the bank in the first place. It's so stupid. But anyway, I mean, I hope that does it justice, because check this out. Where were the likes on that one? 16 likes. I do believe that CSW liked that one. So cheers, Craig. Thank you very much for that. Let's see what else we've got. Loving this from Diego. What a great image that is. Killing Satoshi, the identity that could collapse the world. Somebody says, isn't it meant to be KCF? Like, yeah, it is. But this is just an AI generated image. It's really funny. Loving that. This is ridiculous. Look, somebody reporting here, due to the Muslim population, German schools will no longer have musical education. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, and former New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern says free speech is a weapon of war and censorship is necessary to protect free speech. Honestly, the irony, they're absolutely ripping the piss now. Yeah. And so somebody said here, let's check in on the British police, see what those guys are up to. Yeah, here we are. Like, in a drag show. Like, what? They looks like the Canadian police. Like, oh my god. Oh my god. Let's see what else there was that might have been it. Oh, yeah, here we go. Michael Saylor's tweet. Michael Saylor said, Bitcoin has won. Global consensus is that BTC is digital capital. All right, mate, yeah. The 4-year cycle is dead. Price is now driven by capital flows. Bank and digital credit will determine Bitcoin's growth trajectory. The biggest risk is bad ideas driving iatrogenic protocol changes. I don't think he realizes that the protocol has already changed, but he says Bitcoin has won. Well, he think in his mind that's BTC has won. Oh dear, global consensus is that BTC is digital capital. Oh dear, mate. It's only going to end in tears. It's only going to end in tears. But what is interesting is this one. So Lisa N. Edwards, for those who don't know her, is Craig's sister. As you can see, I've had her blocked for shitcoining because she's a shitcoin trader. But she posted here, she said, I don't think you're bullish enough for what's about to happen. That's right. And somebody has said here, I think this might have been Casey. Casey BSV suggested BSV and got a response. Oh, I can't reply to it because I've blocked her. The response was just a smiley face. When she says, I don't think you're bullish enough for what's about to happen. Is she hinting? Who knows? Who knows? But let me tell you, or let me show you what's happened in Bitcoin's history. Check this one out. So this was in block 181. This was the very first ever transaction that happened on Bitcoin between Satoshi Nakamoto and Hal Finney. So for the purposes of the ledger, 40 Bitcoins were sent, 10 Bitcoins were kept, and then 30 Bitcoins returned. That's how the ledger works. And it's the 10 BTC transaction that Hal received. And you can see the wallet that sent the address starts with a 1. And the wallet that received the address starts with a 1. And the wallet that returned the bit to the ledger also starts with a 1. They all start with 1s. Because that signifies a Bitcoin wallet. So then we move on, and then we've got the famous Marty Malmy transaction, who sold 5,050 bitcoins for I think it was $5.02, something like that. But again, look at all the wallet addresses. 1, 1, 1, 1. They all start with the number 1. All start with the number 1. That's the template for the wallet. There we go. Look, number 1. And here we've got the famous Bitcoin Pizza Day transaction. Look, 10,000 BTC. 10,000 BTC. And again, legacy addresses all start with number 1. Number 1, number 1, number 1. However, move forward onto block 481,824, which was on the 24th of August 2017, and was suddenly the legacy addresses have changed. Look, BC, BC, BC. That's not Bitcoin. That is a transaction that has had the chain of digital signatures segregated. It's not Bitcoin, and there's your proof there. It's on chain, and it can't be changed. Cannot be changed. Shitcoin forever. That's your central point of control, and that's why they can't repair it, because that would be a central point of repair and control. Same again, but it's not Bitcoin. The only chain of signatures is the original protocol and genuine Bitcoin that has now got the market ticker symbol BSV, and that is it. So 4th of April 2014, so this was, oh crikey, yeah, 12 years ago. Yeah, 12 years ago, this one. We have Jeff Garzik giving a talk at Binghamton University. Check it out.
Hi, I'm Jeff Garzik. I'm a Bitcoin core developer, and I work with BitPay. It does get a little bit confusing because I work for an open source project and not a company. But Bitcoin, what is Bitcoin? It's certainly in the headlines quite a bit. I got a text message from my landlord the other day telling me that Bitcoin had declared bankruptcy. That was interesting because I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah, just simply goes to show you what people know about Bitcoin back then. They know nothing. In fact, I didn't even really know Bitcoin back then. 12 years ago, didn't really, well, first popped up on my radar when my mother pointed out in 2010, but other than that, it didn't pop up on my radar till 2015. Yeah, I didn't, and nobody knew anything about it. It was crazy. It was like, what is this thing? But yeah. Jeff Garzik also made a famous quote about Bitcoin. In fact, let me just see if I can find it here because it's well worth it. I will put this up on Twitter if I find it. It is Jeff Garzik. Oh, there we go. Check it out. So in fact, let me just see if I can copy this. Copy. I'm going to paste this now into Twitter, just for the newbies. Here we go. See if it comes up. There we go. And I'll copy and paste this one over the top of it. There we go. Post that one. This is what I was talking about. So Jeff Garzik said here, when I first heard about Bitcoin, I thought it was impossible. How can you have a pure digital currency? Can't I just copy your hard drive and have your Bitcoins? I didn't understand how that could be done. And then I looked into it and it was brilliant. Jeff Garzik, founder of Dunvegan Space Systems. Loving that. Loving that. And 4th of April 2023, papers associated with Bitcoin and related topics in law was another blog post from Craig Wright. Loving that. That was pretty great. Right, there we go. Hope you enjoyed that little Bitcoin story. That's a 14-minute show. We'll leave it there. And as ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and I hope you understand.
I understand.
Do you?
Do you? This is it. I'm telling you, this is it.
The king still has one more move.